Hello, my name's Charlie Mydlarz, and I'm going to talk to you about my PhD, which I've just recently finished. I'm still doing the corrections, but it's pretty much done, and it is on investigating human relationships with their soundscapes using internet technology. So essentially, we created an app, me and Ian, for iPhone and older versions of phones, and allowed people to record and comment on their soundscapes. And that brought us in loads of data in a kind of citizen science, crowdsourced type of way. So why smartphones? Well, essentially, this infographic says there's lots of them in the world, and more of them are smartphones. Smartphones have got really quite advanced capabilities, as you know, microphones, data storage, they're all very connected. So it's quite easy to kind of retrieve data from them that's being captured by these citizen scientists. So 5 billion in the world, a billion smartphones. This is from 2 years ago, this is probably way out of date. More Android than iPhone. I only picked iPhone because of a couple of reasons I'll explain later. And also, it's a brilliant tool because people use them all day. I'm assuming a lot of you have got smartphones, but they're always out. People are always using them. You're always pulling them out on buses whenever you're bored. So it's the perfect platform for this type of research. And people aren't just using them for communication. People are using them for apps, for games, for things that aren't just simple text and phone calls. As well, the reason I chose iPhone was because apps are more popular on iPhone. They've got the biggest app store, it's the most popular. iPhone apps are more trusted generally than Android apps, and more people use data on iPhones. It's kind of more of a used platform. Because this project was a public engagement type project, we relied on people finding out about us to take part. We had to do it. We had to kind of gain a lot of press coverage. We got a PR company to get involved, but they went with things like noise. They used the term noise because it sounds like a better headline, whereas we were looking into soundscapes, which is kind of covering the positive and the negative. If we publicised it as noise, it would have been generally negative responses. So we wanted to make it quite a general introduction there. That was our story on Click, which went crazy. So yeah, it was all about getting people involved. The old version of the app, me and Ian thought it would be very cool to be displaying time domain representations of soundscapes and frequency, the frequency content of soundscapes, but people don't really care about that. They just want to take part and record soundscapes, actually get involved. This is all on the old Java phones and Windows mobile PDAs. Didn't work so well, so kind of late on I thought we have to make an iPhone app because I just bought one and because it's a much better platform. The App Store, 2 taps and you've got the app. It's touchscreen, so it's very easy to enter data. It's very connected in terms of the social networks, which was a real driver behind participation in it. So, as I said before, essentially, the app just allows you to record, and it also allows you to respond to the soundscape, and all of that information comes back to me. And it's also shared a lot on Twitter and Facebook. You can have it automatically do that to kind of spread the word and get more people involved in this. So, yeah, the other versions, the iOS device goes wirelessly up to the server. You can submit via the website, which is kind of our main hub for the project, using any kind of recorder and these older versions of the project app. And you have to go via the website for those ones. So we just wanted to kind of amass as much data as possible to investigate these things. So the sharing and engagement, as I've been saying, was really important because we just needed more people to find out about it. So if someone's tweeting and sharing something on Facebook every time they submit to the project, immediately you're reaching hundreds or thousands of other people. It kind of spreads the word and kind of keeps up the Soundscape name. Another technique was a little beeper, which is really annoying, but I had to do it. It went off every Saturday at 2 o'clock and just said, don't forget, we're still here, the app's still on your phone, why not make a recording? It was kind of like a nudge thing, because I just had to have people still contributing. So there's lots of issues around using this kind of technology, consumer technology. The picture on the left, I think, yeah, that just means how people might hold the device. So one thing I did was flip the screen, so that when you're recording, your hand's not over the microphone, things like that, to try and get the best data possible, because I'm not there with this equipment. Stay out of the wind, things like that. It's quite hard to get people to do what you want. So these are the cumulative uploads. This has got much higher, up to about 2,000 now. But these kind of main milestones, we launched the website, Trickle, Media launch, not as bigger submissions as we like, but we launched the iOS app and it just went crazy because it was so easy to take part. Okay, submission times. This is when people submitted. This actually relates back to that little beeper that goes off at 2 on a Saturday. You can see, aside from the 12 o'clock, there's a 2 o'clock spike. So that kind of worked, that process of giving people a nudge and saying, why not make a soundscape recording? Because we've got the latitude, longitude, and time and date of the recordings, we can also kind of retrospectively mine other data from internet databases. So things like weather, temperature data. So there's a lot you can pull from the internet after you've actually got these recordings, because you've got all this associated information. I asked people to identify a positive and negative sound within this soundscape, and positive sounds came out as human on top, so I guess we're kind of herding creatures. We like to be around other people. That was the main positive sound. Negative, not so surprising, artificial sounds generally. I also asked people why they recorded these soundscapes, because it was completely up to them what they recorded. And I found that the more interest, I mean, this might sound obvious, but the more interest there is in the soundscape, the higher it's rated in terms of these scales, soundscape quality, eventfulness, exciting. This is them actually rating these things. God, last one. This is further work. We have the location of the soundscape, something called Geofencing, where you can, if the person's got the app, you can make it beep them when they enter a certain area, so you can focus in on, say, St Anne's Square. So when they enter this area, you can say, why not record a soundscape to make it a bit more focused? Because my data is very broad. It just covered everything from like internal soundscapes, parks, card trips, shopping centres. It was very broad. So yeah, it would benefit to be a bit more focused in the future. Thanks. God, that's really good.
Dat was niet de bijna.
Nearly, yeah.